Hey guys, it's Kelly here from Armed and Feminine, and the Back to Basics series continues. Hit the subscribe button so you can see them all. Today we're going to talk about malfunctions. So let's talk about malfunctions. At some point, at some time, no matter how good your ammunition is or no matter how good a shooter you are, you're going to experience a malfunction. Most every malfunction that you are going to encounter is going to be satisfied by tapping and racking the gun. So smacking the bottom of the magazine, and you'll feel it sort of jiggle. That resets the ammunition with the spring inside the mag, and racking out the round to get another one ready to roll. So I've set up a few guns here to demonstrate what some of those would be. So when we talk about a misfire, we're going to hear click, no bang. Click, no bang. So to get back on target right quickly, we're just going to tap it, roll the gun clockwise so that the chamber is facing away from us, and rack that out. Those are dummies. And it will chamber another round so that we can get back on target fairly quickly. Another one is going to be a hang fire. And hang fire is different, where that's a delay in activation of the gun, or activation of the ammunition. So when we have that one, what we're supposed to do, just to be safe, because we don't really know if it's going to go off or not, is to stay downrange or pointed in a safe direction for 30 seconds to make sure that it's going to be. Therein lies the difference that, oh gosh, is it a hang fire or is it a misfire? Since you don't know, the safest thing to do is to stay downrange for 30 seconds. If it's going to go off, it'll go off in about that time. If not, we're just going to tap it and rack it, and we're going to get back on target. Another one is going to be a squib load. Now, I personally have never had a squib load occur to me. I've had some friends who have, and that's sort of like the code blue, where there wasn't enough pressure built up in the cartridge, and so instead of blowing the bullet out onto its target, it just sort of pops. So we don't hear a click, no bang. We hear a pop. So we have reduced muzzle flash. We have a whole reduced feel of recoil as well. You get used to what your gun feels like, and then when it doesn't sound right and it doesn't feel right, we'd better check it. So the easiest way to do that certainly is to pop that magazine out, and this one's already out, but put the gun into slide lock. I would certainly let it rest for a bit, and then I would take a ramrod and push it through here to see if there's anything occluding the barrel. Now, if it is, if you can kick it out, great. If not, take that to a gunsmith. What you don't want to do is follow that up behind it with another shot, because if that bullet is lodged into your barrel and you fire off another good round behind it, bad things are going to happen. It's going to blow a bubble in your barrel. Your safety might be jeopardized, so really pay attention to what it sounds like and what it feels like. So we have misfire, hang fire, and squib load. Some other ones have to do with the functioning of your gun, so we'll remove that one. Failure to feed, and I don't really have one here set up for failure to feed, but we'll use this gun again, is if you aren't seating your magazine in properly, that might happen. Or if you have a bad follower, which is that piece on your magazine, where the round is not going up the feed ramp properly and getting into the chamber properly. And sometimes that will happen if you don't seat that exactly correctly. Now, when I'm teaching on how to seat the magazine correctly, I tell them to see it, so watch it and feel it, hear it click. And don't be afraid to whack it. See it, feel it, hear it click. That makes sure that your mag gets seated properly. So that tapping and racking, like I said, is going to pretty much hit all of, or take care of most of your malfunctions. So let's take that one out. Failure to feed, whack it in. Another one is going to be a stovepipe, and it's going to look something like that. This tends to be an ejection problem, where you may not have had, your ammo might have been a little bit of a light load. This here did not spit out, because we go in extraction and ejection, but this didn't get ejected before the slide had closed. Now, once again, same thing. We're going to go ahead and tap that, roll over clockwise so that the chamber opens this way, and rack that round right out. Same thing, tap, rack, get back on target. Another thing that we may see would be a double feed. We see this one fairly often with new shooters. This one can happen because of a bad grip, a bad recoil spring. Here we have two things trying to get into the same spot at the same time. This sometimes actually takes 3 hands depending on how tight that is. So we either have 2 live rounds or a round that didn't extract and the next one trying to get in there. So the easiest way to clear that kind of malfunction would be to rip out the magazine, and sometimes you really have to rip it. And one may fall out of the bottom of the mag well, it may fall out the top, and to rack over top no fewer than 2 or 3 times to make sure that it's clear. And then go, excuse me, go ahead and reseat that magazine and you can get back up on target. So when I talk about a bad grip or limp wristing, that will create a lot of problems for you, as will a really dirty gun. So if your gun is dirty or if your gun is dry, that's going to cause a number of these malfunctions for you too. So make sure you're maintaining that well and it's clean and that it's lubed up. When I talk about limp wristing or a bad grip, when I talk about that V and having a nice tight grip, this slide, as it comes back and forth, oh look, I had another round in there, stand back, stand by, as it's coming back and forth, it's got to rip that next round off and get it up the feed ramp and into the chamber. So if we don't have a nice tight grip, little wimpy here, this cannot do its job. And that's going to cause some of your malfunction. So make sure your grip is really tight so that recoil spring can really bounce back and strip off that next round. Something else that might occur, you will note here on the end of this gun, is called being out of battery. And as you can see, the slide is not aligned with the bottom of the frame, and you can see the rod here sticking out the bottom. Occasionally that happens. I've seen some people just go ahead and whack them, and if you just whack it in, that it sufficed it, but it also might actually fire the gun. Of course, the safest way to go ahead and fix that would be the same thing, to tap it and rack it and go back on target. That is usually the case when you have a bad recoil spring. They need to be replaced, you know, just sort of like tires on your car. They need to be replaced usually about every 5,000 rounds because it just sort of wears out. So that would be out of battery, where it will sort of look like that. So we've got a misfire, we've got a hang fire, we've got squib loads, all ammunition kinds of things, tapping and racking, being safe 30 seconds down range. And then we have our failure to feed, usually a magazine problem. Remember, see it, feel it, hear it, click. We also have the double feed and the stovepipe. So remember, tap and rack. And if you have trouble racking, back your palm on the serrations, over, and give it a push. Push and a pull, and that will come out for you. So those are your malfunctions. Hope you don't have too many of them. Choose good ammunition and have a good grip. I'm Kelly from Armed and Feminine. If you like what you're seeing, hit the subscribe button. Remember, it's your life, protect it.